everyone, welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy, and we are continuing on with the Justice for All game. We are on Episode 4, Farewell My Turnabout, Part 2-2 Trial. Last time we ended up having our witness, the old bag, Wendy Old Bag. That's actually her name. But we had her as a witness, and now we're going to have Miss Andrews, I'm pretty sure, who is the manager of Mr. Ongard, the Nickel Samurai, the person who is expected of killing Juan Cordia. So, March 22nd, 2:14 p.m. Dude! I can't believe that Adrian. No way, no, not cool. Oh wait, not cool and collecting Adrian Andrews? She is your manager. It would have been very easy for her to pull this off, correct? The only person who had easy access to the knife you used at dinner was, well, her and you. So after the ceremony with the break, yes. I was sleeping like a log the entire time. She could have also easily planted the blood-covered button in your hamakama. Because she was the one that came to wake me up. Then, dude, you're saying it really was her? Perhaps, okay? I'm not saying for sure. I'm saying we expect it. Oh, maybe Phoenix is saying that. Okay. Yes, she is the real killer. She was the one who murdered Juan Cordia. But why? I thought she was buds with Juan. She has her own agenda. Her own agenda? What are you talking about, dude? Pretty sure you'll see by the time this trial is over. It'll be alright. I'll get you acquitted by the end of today. Give me a verdict that's refreshing like a spring breeze, okay, Mr. Lawyer Dude? Phoenix. You think her motive is related to Celestia Impact's missing suicide note? Oh, that was... we do have that. Yes. Miss Andrews depended on her as her strength and reason to live. But then, she killed herself, suddenly. Sounds like she left a suicide note. The person thought to have hidden it is Juan Cordia. That's why I think that Miss Andrews got close to Mr. Cordia. All to get the suicide note. That sounds very plausible, correct, yes. But one thing bothers me. What? Who was it that first told us about this relationship they had? Miss Andrews' dependency issues with regards to Mr. Impact. Mrs. Impacts. It was Edgeworth. Yes, Edgeworth has all along knew what's happening. Looks like he's still the one in command of this ship. Don't let your guard down yet. I think Edgeworth's going to help us, okay? I don't think we have to worry that much. Court will now reconvene. Now then, Mr. Edgeworth, if you please. Prosecution calls the witness subpoenaed by this court. Miss Adrian Andrews, the person who discovered the crime in Mr. Juan Cordia's room. Her and that card! Oh my gosh. What is your occupation? I'm the manager of the defendant. I see. Now then. Before we begin, Your Honor, I have one request. Yes, sure. What is it? Sure, everyone in this room is wondering the same thing. And would love to find out more about my relationship with the victim. After all, it was the topic of a certain weekly magazine recently. No, I have no idea what you mean. I've never even heard of the Gossip Land. If a judge was ever a prosecution witness, he'd do all my work for me. Wow. Anyways, I was wondering if you could please tell us about your relationship to the victim. Yes, I was seeing Mr. Cordia. I was also aware of the rivalry existing between Matt and Juan. But this was a private matter between Juan and myself. So, it was a fry and bait matter, or was it bait and fry? Reminds me of fishing. But I didn't kill him. Oh, really? No one is accusing you of that. I think there's someone who would beg to differ. Maybe Phoenix. I think we all understand your relationship with the victim. Now, Miss Andrews. Very well then. Witness, please testify to the court. About what happened when you discovered the murder that had taken place. when I found the body. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt from his room. After that, I went to Juan's room, and there was his dead body. I was in shock, of course. What I saw was naturally the exact same scene as in the crime scene photo. I felt as though I was about to faint, so I poured myself a glass of juice. Wait, what? What? After seeing a dead body, you pour a thing of juice. That's very suspicious. You poured yourself a glass of juice, exactly. Yes, sadly, I didn't remember not to touch things at the scene of the crime. She didn't remember. Oh, that poor thing. And I distributed the crime scene by moving this one thing. Disturbed. Oh, disturbed. And that is when the fingerprints on the wine glass were made, Your Honor. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Phoenix? She is one cool and collected customer. She has the brains to match. Yes, I know. In order to catch a person like her, you have to avoid head-on confrontations. You should disrupt her pacing. Okay. Good idea, Mia. Mia Pearl. Okay. She's the type of woman who can easily be thrown off by things inconsistent with her thinking. So you have to attack when she least expects it. The instant you let up on your offense is the instant this trial is over, understand? So offensive the whole time. Okay. So first we'll press on all this stuff. It was time for the show to start, so I went to get Matt. And what was Mr. OnGuard doing at the time? He was taking a nap. Do you have it wrote down in your book there? Come on. He is worn out from his mini performance at the Nickel Samurai during the ceremony. Then I guess you could say it could not have been taken out of his room, yes? Excuse me? It? Where are you? Oh? Right? I thought years of school would have taught you how to construct a sentence. If you can't make a sensible sentence with a subject, then I'll make one for you. Watch. Did you, Miss Andrews, remove Mr. OnGuard's knife from his room? No. Ah, it. Subject, verb, object, right? Did you skip basic grammar? The witness may continue. Oh, thank you, Edgeworth. After that, I went to Juan's room. Okay. What did you do in Juan's room? As a friendly gesture, Juan was to make an appearance with the other heroes. Okay, show friendship. Press further. Yes, what about the friendship? Is that the only reason you say? I beg your pardon, what are you implying? You had a certain goal in mind, right? So perhaps you had a more personal matter to discuss. Sorry, but I didn't have any such intentions in mind at the time. Maybe continue now. Okay. And there was his dead body. I was in shock. Okay. You're in shock. What? Was I not supposed to be? No, you're used to dead bodies, right? She's a very calculated person, and despite how close they were, I doubt she had romantic feelings for Mr. Cordia. Anyone randomly stumbling upon a dead body would be in shock, of course. And you can't seriously expect that a young beauty like her would be not shocked. I see. Okay, so she saw the scene exactly as in the photo. This is the photo you're referring to, correct? Yes, and the juice there, and the wine glass. Yes, the one with the knife lodged in his chest. And the guitar case was like this too. It was open and empty, of course. And what did you do next? Poured myself a glass of juice. That is very suspicious. Juice. Yes, there was a bottle of tomato juice at the table, so I helped myself. But you didn't drink any of it, did you? Huh? Oh, good question. There were no lip marks on the glass. I wasn't feeling terribly great, so I set the glass down without drinking it. So you poured yourself a glass of tomato juice, okay? Got that. Okay, because you felt faint. But then you just poured the glass and just laid it down without taking a drink. Very suspicious. I would like to confirm with you one more time. When you discovered the dead body of Juan Cordia, you were in great shock. You poured yourself a glass of juice. And what of it? My mind really was in complete blank at the time. Your mind a complete blank. I didn't think that was possible for you. Aren't you rude today? I was so dazed that I made one careless mistake. That one thing. What one thing? Never mind. It's no big deal. Oh, come on, come on. What mistake? Press further. It's important. Miss Andrews, I'm convinced that, as you said, you made a mistake at the scene of the crime. What I really want to know is, what was this mistake? Actually, so would I. Edgeworth, you're helping me? Thank you. I'm sorry, it's just, it's kind of embarrassing. When I set the glass down on the dresser, I accidentally knocked the flower vase over. Oh, that explained the water. A flower vase? Are you talking about the one on the floor in the crime photo? This mess of glass shards. It was originally on top of the dresser, but when I bumped into it, my elbow, it fell onto the guitar case. Why did you withhold such important piece of evidence? Is that really important? I'm sorry. I thought that since the crime scene was already in disarray, that people would simply assume the vase was just another part of the mess. Don't assume. You know what assuming does. It looks like yet another fact has come to light. Please add this and anything else you have revealed to your testimony. I'm sorry, but I have nothing more to add. I didn't touch anything else. Suspicious. I always wanted to knock the flower vase over. Okay. What kind of flower was in the vase? Oh, what kind of flower vase was it? It was glass vase, fairly big and heavy. I thought I would try to take Juan's pulse. So I set the glass I was holding down the dresser. That's when my elbow accidentally hit the vase. That's odd. I thought she was always in total control of herself. That's what she would like people to think. Always be mindful of the gap between your perception and reality. Very good, Mia. Doesn't sound like there's one glaring contradiction in this testimony just now. I warned you earlier that she would not crack easily. Only way to make her is to keep on the offensive and not let up. Only way you're going to catch her is with some very strong decisive evidence. Okay, so now that we know about the vase, we can go ahead and go on here. And she knocked over the vase. So let's go ahead and present the guitar case. So there's some water on it. You testify that you knocked over the flower vase, correct? Yes. And are you sure it fell onto the guitar case? Is there some problem with what I said, Mr. Wright? It's not some problem. It's a major problem. Okay, It's true that the top of the guitar case was wet with water. However, that's exactly what is so strange. You testify that the vase fell onto the guitar case. However, the case should have gotten wet on the inside. Not the outside. That's true. So she opened up the case before she knocked the vase down. Furthermore, there is one other strange thing about this guitar case. Let's take a look at another photo of the crime scene. The remains of the vase are scattered on the floor. What is wrong with that? If the guitar case was open when the vase fell, the glass shards should be inside, not outside the case. And there should be water inside also. What's your point? That the case was closed at the time the vase was knocked over? Is that all? Yes. Oh, no. Think back to what Miss Andrews testified to. She said that other than the vase, she didn't touch anything. Yes, that's right. She did implicitly say that she didn't touch the guitar case. She must have. But the whole matter, but the guitar case is dead on the end. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. That may be very true. However, she did look in the case. It seems that there are no deeper meanings to the guitar case. Well, Mr. Wright, do you think we need to hear more details about the guitar case? I would say to make her testify. Yeah, let's make her testify. The empty guitar case. I believe this is a crucial piece to the puzzle. Ha! I can't believe anyone would reach that for straws like this, but it is you. Alright, I'll follow along for now. Miss Andrews, please testify to the court about the guitar case. Yes, Your Honor. I don't remember too clearly because I was a bit dazed. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. You wanted to make sure the guitar was alright, right? Looks like this really wasn't a very important point. This wastefulness is such a familiar feeling by now that it's almost comforting. Anyways. I'll just go ahead and start the cross-examination. Using anyways to change the topic. A convenient escape for a weak man. Edgeworth. Wow. That kind of hurt. Okay, guitar case. I don't remember it clearly. I was a bit dazed. Yes, you need juice, correct? Did you remember those events clearly in your mind? Well, you see. Are you sure you are the one who opened the guitar case? She's waiting for someone to tell her if she should answer or not. Well, Miss Andrews. Yes, it was me. Oh. I suppose I must have opened the guitar case after I knocked the vase over. So you opened the guitar case then? Yes. Well, maybe. She doesn't remember. Why did you open the guitar case? Mr. Cordia's dead body was right there in front of you, wasn't it? I would think the first thing you would do is call for help, not open a guitar case, correct? As the witness has said multiple times, when she found the dead body, she was dazed. Maybe I was curious to know if the bright red guitar was alright or not. You're worried about a guitar whenever there's a dead body in front of you. Okay. I thought maybe the criminal took it. Why would she care about a bright red guitar? Exactly. But getting back on the topic. It's not a big deal though, right? The case was empty after all. Was it really empty? Was it? I was just wondering if maybe when you opened the case, the guitar was still inside. And she took it? Is that what you're saying? How long have you been a lawyer, Mr. Wright? Have a little professionalism. The bright red guitar was found at the studio. These trials would be over in half the time if you would just pay attention. Yes, pay more attention, Mr. Wright. But, I'm sorry. As for why I opened the case, even I don't know. Was that because you were shocked and dazed at the victim's body? Yes, that's probably it. Not getting anywhere here. Yeah. Okay, only way to make her talk is with evidence. I guess you'll try that. Come on, Phoenix. We can't afford to let up on her now. She's at her weakest now, so this is our chance. I'm sure a weapon is hiding somewhere in the court record, waiting to be found. Okay. So, now that she's testified about the guitar, why don't we present the guitar case right here. Again. There's no way you were the one who opened the guitar case. Oh, even I'm confused. How do you know that, Phoenix? Why would you say that? It's elementary, my dear. Because the only fingerprints on the guitar case are those of the victim. Ah. So he would have had to open it. What is it, Miss Andrews? You shouldn't assume I must have left prints just because I touched the case. What do you mean? What if I were to tell you that I was wearing gloves at the time? gloves. But why would you be wearing gloves at that time? It was the night of the award ceremony, so of course I dressed up for the occasion. Yes, now I remember. I'm almost sure I was wearing a pair of thin gloves. I see. Well, Mr. Wright, it seems the witness was wearing gloves at the scene of the crime. That's strange. Why is it strange? Do you have something to prove? Yes, because why would we have fingerprints on this wine glass if you had gloves on? I have proof right here, this wine glass. The wine glass. You left fingerprints very clearly on the wine glass. Oh, she's sweating. She's sweating. Even if you took your gloves off for you to pour yourself a glass of juice, wouldn't you think of just a little strange that you put your gloves back on to open the guitar case? Yes, that is very suspicious. Oh, did her glasses? Oh, okay, they're fine. Okay. I thought they just, like, evaporated. Order, order. Okay. Looks like you hit a nail on the head this time. What do you mean? I believe that guitar case plays a very important role here. But it's just an empty case. I wonder if it really was empty, though. But the guitar, it was at the studio. Phoenix, drop all your presumptions, okay? What was in the guitar case was not the bright red guitar. You don't mean it was a bright white guitar? Wait, that's not right either, no. I admit, it would be very unnatural for someone to do that. So the witness was not wearing gloves despite the fact that on the case. Your Honor, this is obviously the defense's usual misdirection tactic at work. Steer the court towards an unrelated topic, lulling us all into his misguided what? No, Your Honor. Please, recall that Miss Andrews had testified that the vase fell onto the guitar case, which means that the case was closed when the crime took place. However, it's wide open in this photo. I am sure this guitar case has some relation to the murder. If you are so sure, Mr. Wright, then I'm sure you somehow substantiate your outrageous claim. Please, enlighten us. Why that guitar case has anything to do with the murder. Can you do that, Mr. Wright? Okay, let's think for a second, okay? The bright red guitar was not the only thing that could have been in the case, correct? Oh, what was that? So you intend to push your theory that the case was not empty? I would say something I didn't intend to prove. Deflate that head of yours. You haven't proven anything yet. Okay, what was inside the case at the time of the murder? Okay. Let's... Let's present this. Lotta's photo. This is a photograph. Yes. What is important is what is in that photograph. It doesn't take a genius to see what I mean. What I'm proposing is... inside the guitar case was the Nickel Samurai, the hero's very own costume. What? He kept his costume in his guitar case? That would be the weirdest thing we've ever noticed. Mr. Wright, explain yourself. Wright, are you saying that the witness opened the guitar case to take out a costume? What insane point would this... That insane point would be to wear the costume, of course. Miss Andrews put it on to hide her identity so she could make an escape. After all, you couldn't let anyone see you leave, could you, Miss Andrews? I refuse to accept your theory. No, I don't accept it. Do you have anything to support your preposterous idea? Just outside the door was an investigative reporter, or photographer, who was starved for a big scoop. And in the end, she managed to get the shot correct. You made this photo. Yes, Lotta took the photo. It looks like we have wandered into quite another mess again, haven't we? Nice job, Phoenix. Well, you know my strategy first. Speak first, think later. So the real murderer was hiding inside a costume. Wait a second, Your Honor. The Nickel Samurai costume would have been in Mr. Matt Onguard's room. Why would something of the defendants be in the victim's room? And in the guitar case of all places. True. That is a little baffling. Mr. Wright, the court would like to hear your thoughts. What was this Nickel Samurai costume doing inside the guitar case? Okay, it was stolen? Or it was a spare costume? Let's say it was a spare. I would say spare, because I don't think Onguard would steal one. Mr. Onguard did not take his costume off during the break period. In that case, the costume we are talking about was a spare one. What? Then, are you saying that on the night of the murder, there were 2 Nickel Samurai costumes in the Gatewater Hotel? Exactly, Judge. Exactly. Yes, that's what I'm saying. And how do you explain the costume that was inside the guitar case? It would mean that the victim himself had brought this spare to the ceremony on purpose. But why? The victim, Mr. Cordia, was the jamming ninja, correct? Why would he secretly bring a Nickel Samurai spare costume with him? What would be the reason? And therein lies the sticking point. Okay. What are you mumbling to yourself about now? Have you just been rambling all this time without any sense of inner monologue? Yes. Talk first, think later. Mr. Wright, please explain yourself. Why do you think the victim had Nickel Samurai spare costume? Phoenix, are you sure you can explain this one? Think carefully before you answer. And then answer with gusto. I believe in you. Alright, this is what I think. The reason the victim brought this Nickel Samurai spare costume to the hotel was... Okay, let's look at this stuff. Wait, to confess something. Maybe. Yeah, we finally can use the conference ticket, maybe. What is this? On the night of the murder, after the stage show, the Nickel Samurai is going to hold a special press conference. Yes, the Nickel Samurai was supposed to confess something at the conference. I heard about this as well. For once, you're not making something up, Mr. Wright. But what struck me as strange was that Mr. Onguard himself said he had no idea. Oh, that makes sense. So Juan Cordia was going to wear a Nickel Samurai costume to go to the conference. But how can that be? The way I see it, that can mean only one thing. The conference was set up by none other than Juan Cordia himself. The victim. Yes. The spare Nickel Samurai costume was prepared for that very conference. Mr. Cordia was going to hold the press conference as the Nickel Samurai. That does make sense. Finally, this is all falling together. He was going to dress up as a Nickel Samurai and hold a conference? But why would the victim do such a thing? That's something I don't quite know yet, however. What I am concerned with right now is what he intended to reveal at the conference. He was going to confess something, and by confess, I'd wager going to reveal something about himself. Which means that Juan Cordia posing as the Nickel Samurai was going to speak about Matt Onguard. Yes, I guess that's what it would mean. But if that's the case, that's not a confession, it's a public disclosure. Ooh. Huh. Miss Andrews? I can see why you're a pros at what you do. Pardon? Yes, just as you say, the press conference was set up by Juan. It's all coming out. Okay, what? Please, offer an explanation. I was the one who asked to help set it up, and the person who prepared the second costume for him, it was also me. You? Juan had bet everything on the Jamming Ninja this year. And if he lost at Grand Prix, he was going to make sure that Matt was going down with him. That's what he thought anyways. Oh, they are really rivals. He's going to take him down. He's going to ruin him, huh? It looked like somehow Juan had his hands on a secret so powerful. It would destroy Matt's acting career. Oh? And do you know what the secret is? That's something only Juan knew. I don't know what it is. She looks too smug. I think she knows. Ah, I see. I've probably been coming off as quite suspicious to everyone. Yes, yes you have. But that's to be expected. I've been trying to protect Matt after all. Protect him? Why? And yet again, another strange bit of truth comes to light, it seems. Miss Andrews, could you please tell us the truth about your behavior? Yes, Your Honor, I understand. She's being too suspicious now. Super, super suspicious. I don't trust this. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling that Matt was the murderer. Matt had killed Quan no matter what. And he didn't have an alibi for what he was doing at the time of the murder. My thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. And I'm Matt's manager, so I felt I had to protect him. That's it? That's all you have? This does account for everything. Well, I'm the logical type, you see. We're finally seeing her true self. She's more nervous than a scared rabbit. If the defense can find no fault with the testimony, I'm ready to make a ruling. Please keep that in mind as you cross-examine Mr. Wright. Looks like somehow everything has swung the opposite end of the scale again. That just means I have to put my weight into this and turn her logic upside down. Okay. Protecting Matt. Let's press on all of this stuff. From the moment I saw the crime scene, I had a feeling Matt was the murderer. Why? Why do you think that? Intuition. Don't confuse my methods of reasoning with your own. Okay, okay. If you want to prove that someone did something, you need 3 things. Okay, I'm guessing evidence, motive. So motive, an opportunity to commit the crime, and finally decisive evidence. If you think these 3 things through, the answer comes quite clear. You should have already known that, Phoenix. Exactly. I'm a detective and a lawyer. Okay. They didn't teach that us in school, at least not from what I remember. Phoenix, you don't remember? May I continue now? Matt had to kill Juan no matter what. Need. Okay. Yes. Do you know why Juan chose that event? Because that's when he could cause the most damage to public beloved Matt on guard. And you knew his plan, didn't you, Miss Andrews? Yes, because I was the one who set up the conference and prepared the costume. But you want to protect Matt, but you set up the conference to tear him down. I'm getting confused here. But I'm sure Mr. Ongard himself didn't know anything about the press conference. Oh, really? Can you show me any proof that he didn't know about the press conference? Oh, I guess I don't have proof. Anyways, the important thing here is that the information was not in your testimony. Yes, I agree, Miss Andrews. Please correct your testimony. Grasping at straws now, are we, Mr. Wright? She's cool again. Cool as a cucumber. I know what his motive was, but I don't have any way to prove I'm right. Has Mr. Ongard done something to hurt or betray you? Personally? Why do you ask? You were the one who helped Mr. Cordia with his press conference. And that event was supposed to bring down Mr. Ongard, yet you still helped. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. The person on trial here is Matt Ongard, right? What the witness was thinking, helping the victim was with his plan, is none of our concern. In any case, this means that the defendant had a motive to kill. Why do I keep doing this to myself? And he didn't have an alibi. Okay, agreed. But didn't you already testify earlier that Mr. Ongard was taking a nap in his room? Yeah, so you're his alibi, right? Are you telling me now that too was a lie so you could cover for Mr. Ongard? I'm not telling you anything of the sort. When I went to go get him for the show, he honestly was sleeping. However, as to whether he was sleeping the entire time, I cannot say. I was too busy setting up the stage. I keep trying, but all I can find are no flaws with what Miss Andrews has to say. I can't say the same for some of the people here in this courtroom, however. Judge. He's glaring straight at Mia. Oh. He's glaring at you, smart guy. Okay, my thoughts were confirmed by the evidence, of course, the button and the knife. You can hardly call the knife decisive evidence. The fingerprints on the knife could very well be a clever camouflage. Then what about the button? The button? It's clear from the crime scene the victim and his murderer fought. And during the fight, the killer ripped a button from the Jammy Ninja's costume. Ah, this button, yes. That button was found on Matt, yes. I would think that makes it very decisive evidence. Looks like you're outfoxed again, Mr. Wright. I always come out on top. Shut up, Judge. Anyways, the knife doesn't prove a thing. Please fix your testimony. I can't stand the sight of a man who can't gracefully accept his defeat. Thank goodness Mia can still look at me. With an icy stare, yes. Miss Andrews, for Mr. Wright's sake, please add this information to your testimony. The button was torn off Juan during a fight. Okay. And how do you know that? When the ends of the thread of the button and the costume were matched up, they were found to fit together perfectly. But why would Miss Andrews know about the case down to such fine detail? Because she was trained, okay? They talked her through it. Don't look at me like that, just because I'm prepared and you're not. Okay, something's got to trip her up. Okay, so now I think we were at the very beginning again. Oh, wait, no. We haven't pressed on this. I don't think so. But what you really did was just stab the guy in the back, didn't you? At the worst possible time. Who's to say she really stabbed a guy in the back, as you put it? This witness could have disclosed things about Mr. Engard at any time, yes. Why then would she wait until this very large audience doing so? It's the same reason why Mr. Cordia planned such an elaborate conference. Miss Andrews wanted to cause Mr. Engard as much damage as she possibly could, just like she said Juan wanted to do. This witness bears ill will toward the defendant. This isn't the Phoenix Wright wax philosophical power hour? What? And please, stop slandering the witness. As I expected, Miss Andrews' testimony seems pretty solid. Really? Because to me it sounded a little wishy-washy. Wishy-washy? Okay. You should know this by now. But you'll need a strong, decisive evidence to make her talk. Got it, Chief? Okay. Okay, so now we're at the very beginning. Okay, so now that we've got all of this, why don't we... Okay. The button. Okay, the button was torn off the thing. Let's present... Yeah, the autopsy report. This is the victim's autopsy report. It clearly states that the cause of death was strangulation by scarf. Not knife, exactly. Strangulation. The knife stabbed to the victim was done after the victim had already died. And what does that mean? Let's examine the evidence. This button was the victim's blood on it, which would mean that it was ripped off the costume when... After the victim was stabbed. After the knife was stabbed. Yep. Exactly. Which means... It's impossible that this button was torn off during the victim's final struggle. Because the victim was strangled to death in that fight. That's right, Miss Andrews. There is no way this button could have been ripped off during the struggle. This button was pulled off the victim's already dead body. So she could have still killed him and then planted the evidence. What's the meaning of this, right? So what if the button was torn off the body after the victim already died? What does that change? Let me ask you one simple question, Mr. Edgeworth. Why was the button torn off? What purpose did that serve? Purpose? It was to stage the crime scene. We know the button was not turned off during the fight, so the murderer took the time to effort to purposely rip this from the victim's body. She had something in mind, exactly. Mr. Wright, does this mean you know what the murderer wanted to do with the button? To pin the crime on Engard, right? Yeah, it's gotta be. There's only one logical reason for doing something like that. To pin the crime on Mr. Engard. There's no way anyone would put a bloody pin in their own pants. That is a weird sentence to say out of context. That's right. Mr. On-Guard was set up. By the real killer, of course. Can't deny that logic. The real murderer is... Well, Mr. Wright, who in the world is the real... Finally. I can't believe I've managed to bring this trial all the way to this point. Phoenix, you can't let your guard down yet. Not until the very end. Okay, so now we're going to go to profiles. So, it has to be Miss Andrews. It has to be her. Yes. She could have strangled him. Miss Adrian Andrews. I choose you! You are Miss Cordia's killer! Oh, when did this turn into a Pokemon? I choose you! Order, order! Mr. Wright, this is a very grave matter. Do you have any evidence? Any evidence? All the evidence points to Miss Andrews. How preposterous! You can't stick any of that on me. I can't, can I? Would you care to test me? Then what about this knife? The knife was used to stab the victim after it had already been strangled to death. It was used to throw suspicion onto Mr. On-Guard, naturally. The knife covered in the defendant's fingerprints could only have taken from his room. And the only person who had dinner with him was you. She has a lot of spare pairs of glasses. Then what about the button? This button was removed from the victim's body after he had already died. Only person who could have done that was the person who found his body or the killer. However, if Mr. On-Guard was the real killer, there's no way he would have put such incriminating evidence on his own. Oh, another pair of glasses down. Only person who could have put that on him is the person who went to wake him from his nap, which is you, yet again, Miss Andrews. I see. What about the empty guitar case? That is also another piece of evidence that incriminates Miss Andrews. Oh! That costume was used to hide the real killer's identity as they fled the crime scene. Now, who could have known there was such a costume inside the guitar case but Miss Andrews, the one who set it up for him? But Miss Andrews' fingerprints were nowhere to be found. It was you who proved that she was not wearing gloves at the time. That's right! That's because she did not intend to leaving prints. If anyone had found out that she had touched the case, they would have asked why. So, to avoid leaving any prints, she used a towel or something else to open it. But the glass of tomato juice is a different story. She purposely left her fingerprints on the glass to show that, yes, indeed, she was a classic dazed discoverer of a dead body. Another pair of glasses down. And to top it all off, there is this photo. Photo of the killer as they exited the crime scene. No reasonable person on Earth could believe this nickel samurai is Mr. On-Guard. He would be much too short for his own costume if it were him. Is she shorter? Probably. Speaking of how tall people are, Miss Andrews, you're also kind of short in stature, are you not? Please stop. She's already dead, Phoenix. She's already dead. Well, how about it, Miss Andrews? You got it this time. Miss Andrews? I refuse to testify. What was that? You refuse? Can she do that? There's a law. It says that I can't be forced to testify about something if it can incriminate me. Well, yes. You are absolutely correct, Miss Andrews. The law does provide us with a way to avoid self-incrimination, by allowing a witness to not testify if the testimony can cause damage to themselves. What? Pleading the fifth, huh? Actually, thinking back, where are you thinking back to? Adrian Andrews. Yes? Think hard about what we just discussed. Think hard, understood? Alright. That's it. That's when she planted this idea into her head. She must have told Miss Andrews to not testify if things look bad. There's one thing I haven't done. Something I haven't done. What's wrong, Wright? Are you finished already? Run out of evidence? What is so humorous, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm sure you realize this as well, Your Honor. But everything the good lawyer here has proven up to the point is meaningless. What? Everything you have proven is circumstantial. Yes, you have yet to prove a single piece of definitive proof. Proof that Miss Andrews did in fact harbor a wish to kill Mr. Cordia. The suicide note. The suicide note. Yes. It's gotta be it. Miss Andrews, you didn't want to kill Mr. Cordia? I believe this may lead to incriminating myself, so I will abstain from answering. But Miss Andrews, if you do that, it would be the same as admitting your guilt, don't you think? Maybe so, or maybe not. There's not nothing to prove it either way. Besides, you don't even know what crime I would be guilty of due to my silence. No. She's taking that defiant attitude again. Yes. Mia, what should we do? Somehow we've landed in a worst possible situation. I think we have reached a certain conclusion. Miss Adrian Andrews has refused to testify. The defense theory that she is the actual murderer has not been fully substantiated with solid definitive proof. But that's not true, Judge. In this situation, there is only one thing the court can do. Declare recess. Recess? I request that both the prosecution and the defense look further into the matter. And at tomorrow's trial... Not tomorrow, Judge. No, not tomorrow. We don't have tomorrow. We don't get a guilty verdict today, then. Hold it! Please wait, Your Honor. The trial. Please continue the trial. What are you doing? Your client is getting one more day to live, isn't he? That's not it. This isn't about that. Edgeworth, I know you know who the real killer is. Please, let the trial continue. If I don't get the verdict, then Maya. What about Maya? But it's impossible to continue as long as the witness refuses to testify. Now then, the court is... Edgeworth, is he helping me? It is not impossible for this trial to continue. It's not impossible, no. Edgeworth? What are you... It's true, Miss Andrews holds the right against self-incrimination. However, if the topic of conversation were something unrelated to whatever she may be guilty of, then she has no right to withhold testimony. Yes, that's very true. Actually, there's one little thing I'm curious about. Miss Andrews, when you found the victim's dead body, you poured yourself a glass of juice. Yes, and? I can't help but how unnatural that is. Usually when someone finds a body, they are shaken up, not stirring a glass of juice. Exactly! Thank you, Edgeworth! So my actions were unusual. Before you speak, I want to state that if you have a reason behind your actions, I would like you to testify that to effect. Testify? Your Honor, I would like you to request the witness testify again as to what happened when she first discovered the victim's body. Whatever we find out in this testimony should in no way implicate the witness. Well, thank you, Edgeworth. I don't know what this is about Edgeworth today, but I can't get a good read off him. Is he friend or foe, or just I don't know? The court acknowledges the prosecution's request. Miss Andrews, if you please. Wait, didn't we already get this? Oh, the glass of juice. I didn't really pour it for myself. I was surprised when I walked into the room and saw it in the messy state. And Juan, he was sitting slumped over, tired looking in the corner. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought he was dead didn't cross my mind. To be honest, I thought he had just fainted or something, so I went to pour him some juice. When I realized that he was dead, that's when I knocked over the flower vase. Okay, that actually does sound a little bit more believable. So you poured the glass of juice for the victim. Why didn't you say so in your earlier testimony? I didn't think I needed to include something so trivial. Phoenix, please be careful here. If you can't find anything wrong with this testimony, there's nothing left. Okay. Now then, Mr. Wright, you may begin the cross-examination. Okay. So you poured it for Juan, but there wasn't anyone else in the room? Of course not. Then who did you pour it for? Mr. Wright, there's a rhyme and reason for everything. Can you wait just a little? Okay. Be quiet and listen, Wright. Precisely. Okay. Solve the room in a messy state. So it was a mess? Are you sure it wasn't messy because of your fight with Mr. Cordia? She wouldn't answer that. She'd play the fifth. I understand your frustration. Before you go accusing people of crimes, go find yourself some evidence. Okay, now continue, witness. Juan, he was sitting slumped over, tired, looking in the corner. Yes, he was just sitting there with his head tilted forward, eyes closed. He really looked like he was sleeping. Okay. When I saw him sitting like that, the thought of he was dead didn't cross my mind. But wasn't there a knife in his chest? I thought maybe he had smashed something up in anger because he lost a Grand Prix. And then felt tired of the rampage and decided to take a nap. I see. So, you didn't think he was dead? I thought he had fainted or something, so I poured him some juice. The room was in such a messy state. I thought maybe he had gotten into a fight with someone. That's when you went to pour him juice. Yes, he's always had a hard time waking up. So Juan always has a glass of tomato juice to drink. When I realized he was dead, that's when I knocked over the flower vase. How do you come to realize he was in fact dead? I shook him over and over, but I never got a response. So I set the glass down on the dresser and just tried to take his pulse. I was shocked and staggered backwards, okay, and knocked the vase over. This is what it all comes down to. This is the absolute end for both sides. She's letting her guard down. Phoenix, now is the best time to kill the prosecution's case. Okay, so we've gone and pressed on all the information. So now... Okay. Okay, he was sitting in the corner. So let's look at what kind of evidence we have. He wasn't really in a corner, was he? That's not really a corner. I don't know. Let's present the crime scene photo. Okay, that was apparently right. So you honestly don't think he was dead when you found him? No, not at all. Even though this is what you saw when you discovered the body? Exactly! There's a knife in his chest! Ugh! What's the meaning of this? Isn't it obvious, Your Honor? There is a knife sticking straight out of Mr. Cordia's chest. Anyone who saw this would have immediately thought he was dead. That's, well, you see, people can survive knife wounds. I doubt a single person in the world would mistake this for someone who fainted. And then so nonchalantly go pour something to drink. Your point is, Mr. Andrews, your testimony just now was all one giant lie. Another pair of glasses down. And your lie has proven one thing clearly. That you are the real killer. No! Wow. She implicated herself. It looks like the defense has somehow brought the ugly truth to light. The defendant, Mr. Matt on guard, is not guilty after all. But that's impossible. You're wrong. Miss Andrews, try to have some composure. But it wasn't me. It wasn't me, I tell you. It was Matt, I swear it. He's the one who killed Juan. But you were the one who refused to testify. And the reason for not doing so was you might end up incriminating yourself. That's because, Miss Andrews, I will give you one last chance. One last chance. What exactly are you hiding? I refuse to testify. What? You're going to get... Then there is no need for the court to continue any further. Mr. Matt Onguard's innocence has been clearly demonstrated. Have you found the truth at last? What's wrong, Phoenix? Usually, well, the real killer confesses his or her guilt. This is the first time someone hasn't. Yeah, exactly. She's just letting herself be thrown to the judge. Come on. Now then, I would like to hand down the verdict for Mr. Matt Onguard. Edgeworth? Your Honor. The prosecution feels that it would be premature to pass down a verdict at this time. What? The reason is quite simple. This witness has yet to speak the absolute real truth. If she won't speak, she won't speak. The absolute real truth? What are you? Witness, don't you understand yet? I don't know who planted this silly idea in your head, but as long as you protect yourself through silence, Mr. Ungard will go free, and in his place, you will become the guilty party. That's a lie. I don't believe you. What? I was told if I spoke, then it would be all over, and Matt would never be declared guilty. What's she talking about? I can't speak about it. I'm too scared. It's Miss Von Karma, huh? Don't you remember, Phoenix? Miss Andrews lives by gripping tightly onto the words of another, because she doesn't have the strength to believe in herself. Yesterday, she was tossed a lifesaver by Miss Von Karma. Don't say a word, no matter what happens. If you do, Mr. Matt Ungard will be acquitted. Miss Andrews undyingly believes that those words right now and clinging onto them. What should we do then? All we have to do now is get our not guilty verdict. It wasn't me, I'm begging you. Please, believe me, I didn't kill Juan. Help, please, someone help me. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? The court can't continue on like this. Therefore, I'd like to hear what you intend to do. What I intend to do? Right? I suggest you think very carefully about this. Think about what the witness did and what she did not do. And think about who is the real mastermind behind the crime. There's one thing. Oh, there's no one else it would be except the woman crying over there, right? Come on now. What will you do? What kind of man are you, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I want to know the truth. Force her to testify. I can't bring myself to do this. Exactly, she's crying, okay? I want to know what happened. I'd like to know what you're really hiding. Mr. Wright, are you sure? Sure, Mr. Ungard would get an acquittal, but in this place, you would be found guilty. Is this how you really want to end the trial? Be quiet, how dare you? You're trying to trick me. That's enough. I commend you for trying, Mr. Edgeworth. However, it's clear that the defense's theory is truth. You're wrong. Oh. What a shame. I had hoped that this wouldn't come. However, what is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Miss Andrews, since you absolutely refuse to testify, it falls on my shoulders to disclose this to the court. Stop. Mr. Edgeworth? Do you know what it is? This witness, how should I put this? She has an illness. Oh. It's because of this illness she has tried to commit suicide in the past. Edgeworth is bringing all this out. Oh, no. Stop, please stop. No matter how much you want to hide it, it's no use. I have the evidence right here. This attempted suicide report. What will you do now, witness? You know what I am about to do, don't you? I will now reveal to court the true nature of the pitiful woman known as Adrian Andrews. Her dependent nature, yes. Please, please stop, I beg you. If people find out, If you're going to say you would choose death, that is no concern to me. Edgeworth! How can you be so cold? However, before you die, I will pull the truth from your still breathing lips. No matter what I have to do. So will you tell the court yourself or shall I? Either is fine with me. I'll talk, but please help me. Help me. Nothing matters anymore. My crime. Okay. When I first saw him, I really thought he had fainted, honestly. Then I realized he was dead. That's when I formulated my plan. Once I made sure there was no one in the hallway, I made my dash back to Matt's room. Then I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife and ripped off the button. Just when I finished, I returned to Matt's room. That's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. Stab the body with a knife? Why would you do such a thing? Isn't it obvious to pin the blame on a certain person? A certain cowardly man, Mr. Engard. What do you mean by all this? Might take this court a little while to understand this, but this is the truth. The real killer is Matt, that scumbag of a man. I'll never forgive him. He's trying to escape his guilt again, just like last time. So Mr. Andrews stabbed the victim, Juan Cordia, in the chest with a knife. However, she didn't do it with a murder in mind. She did it with the intent of framing Mr. Engard. And this is her crime. Well, she tried to pin the blame on someone else. It wasn't Andrews. Mr. Wright, please get over your shock and commence the cross-examination. Oh my. Okay. Okay, you really thought he'd fainted? But you could tell from the state of the room there had been a fight. So you didn't know he's dead. He had a scarf tied around his neck, but that scarf is part of the Jamie Ninja's costume, so I didn't think anything strange. His head was also tilted down a bit, so I couldn't see his face. That's why I thought I'd wake him up and went to pour juice. When I realized he was dead, that's when I formulated my plan. I knew right away the murderer was Matt. I knew because Juan was the one to expose Matt's weakness to... So, Matt did this to stop Juan, silence him for good. That's when I thought I should forge some evidence to pin the blame on Matt. So the forged evidence was the knife and button. The first thing that came to mind was the knife. So you dashed back to his room so you could get the knife, correct? Yes, the knife he used at dinner with his fingerprints. Matt was napping in his costume at the time. I slipped in, took the knife, and returned to the crime scene. Then I stabbed Juan's dead body with a knife. So you're the one who stabbed the victim? It gives me goosebumps thinking about how horrible a thing I did. But at the time, I couldn't control my own body. It moved on its own. When I stabbed Juan's dead body, it suddenly realized something. If I used the button somehow, I could make Matt look even more suspicious. So you thought you'd rip one of the buttons off and plant it on him? Yes. But things never really go smoothly, do they? Oh, okay, you had a bit of an inconvenience when you got back. It was Lotta, wasn't it, taking a picture? There was a woman with a camera? Yes, it was Lotta. There was also a woman with a ray gun, pacing back and forth. Windy old bag, yes. I'd already been caught and made this big scoop for a certain weekly tabloid once, so I couldn't very well go out looking like myself, and get caught again. That's why I ended up using the Nickel Samurai costume. Okay. So you were the one that prepared the costume, weren't you? Yes, I took it from the Global Studios. I also put it in Juan's guitar case the day before the award ceremony. Yes, Juan wanted to wear that costume and hold a press conference. He was going to disclose Matt's biggest secret there. And what is the secret? That I don't know. Anyways. Anyways, I thought that if I were to leave Juan's room in the Nickel Samurai costume, people would think that Matt was a real murderer. I was very careful not to leave any fingerprints. Absolutely did not want anyone to know about the costume. I think we've heard enough. So after that, you went back to Mr. Engard's room and planted the button? Yes. After that, I folded up the costume I was wearing and put it into a bag. Then I snuck it out of the hotel and got rid of it. My word, what does all this mean? Mr. Edgeworth, is it? The real criminal is Matt Engard. Yesterday, that woman prosecutor sat me down for a talk. Miss Von Karma, yes. She said that I should, under no circumstances, confess to what I had done. That if I just kept quiet, then Matt would be found guilty for sure. I had no choice but to believe in her words. Oh. So she's not the murderer. What this witness has done is clearly unlawful. However, as long as her testimony stands, we can be certain she is not the real killer. Wait, Your Honor. The defense still... Right? It's pointless. At this point in time, it's not possible to indict Miss Andrews on anything. Yes, exactly. There isn't a single piece of evidence that points to her as a murderer. The cross-examination of this witness is over, and so is trial today. You couldn't establish the witness was the culprit. Please let it go, Mr. Wright. But, Mr. Edgeworth, please place Mr. Andrews under arrest. Understood, Your Honor. Prosecution will arrange for her detention immediately. That is all. Court is adjourned for today. Maya. I didn't get a not guilty verdict. What's going to happen with her? Judge, come back. Judge, come back! Oh no. Today's trial is over. And I didn't win an acquittal. Witness, would you mind if I asked you something? What is it? Before you leave court today, I was wondering if you might look at one thing. The card in your hand. It's had my interest for quite some time. What exactly is it? Oh, this, Mr. Wright was asking about this. The seashell. Although I didn't remember at the time you asked me about it, Mr. Wright, I remember just now. I found this in the room on that day. The room? That room? Yes. It was from the murderer! I found this card when I discovered Juan's body. It was lying there next to him. I suppose I must have unconsciously slipped it into my pocket and been using it this whole time? Flipping around your hand? But it's not as if the card has any relevance to Juan's murder, right? I guess not, but it's still a strange card. It's a calling card. Witness, that card, give it to me, hurry. Edgeworth, do you have any idea what you have stupidly yet inadvertently done? This. I can't believe you hid this from me all this time. Edgeworth, do you know what it is? What is all this? I've never seen Edgeworth so emotional. That card, what in the world is it? To be continued. Oh my. So what's going to happen to Maya? We didn't get an acquittal today. I mean, I think it's safe to say that probably Matt didn't do it. I think we'll get an acquittal, just we didn't get one today. We have to do another investigation. And then what is it about the card? It was right next to the body, so it had to be the murderer's calling card or something. I don't know, it's getting juicy. I don't know. So anyways, thank you all for watching. We will continue on next time with episode 4, Farewell My Turnabout, part 3-1 investigation. And we'll see what happens. So thank you all for watching. I will see you guys next time. So bye-bye.